waters and community. We pay respect to elders, past, present and emerging. I'll ask you to stand for prayers, please.
Tonight, we pray to you who art Mother, Father to us all, for wisdom and clarity in discussion and debate. We ask that thy light and eternal grace shine in our hearts now and always, thou who art one, although known by many names, and whose truth is expressed in many faiths. And as you taught us, we pray, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive them that trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen.
Thank you. Okay, so the meeting is open and I welcome those in attendance. I do advise that the meeting will be digitally recorded in accordance with council policy, those lot of numbers, GOV.017. To record the meetings of council to assist in the preparation of minutes and to allow live streaming of council meetings. Attendance, we are all here, so there's no apologies and no leaves of absence. Confirmation of minutes. So could I have a person? Councillor Oldacre?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. A seconder?
Yes.
Councillor Hine? No discussion. I'll put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against, carried. Declarations of interest. Is there any interest there to declare, conflicts to declare, pecuniary or otherwise? There might be one enclosed. Jenny? Councillor Hine?
Very good.
You might have one enclosed, I reckon. Okay, we'll move on to 4, the Mayor's communications. Not been many, it hasn't been there long. Is there any questions on those meetings there? No reports by delegates, notification of workshops where we've had the 2. Any questions or comments on any of those? So there's some responses to some, in the agenda there, to some public questions. One from Mr. Councillor Oldacre.
I don't want to be pedantic on you, but Mr. Mayor, you need to get the notifications. There's a recommendation there. You need a move and a second of that for that to be passed.
With the...
Oh, 4.3, the council notes the workshops.
Oh, sorry. Thanks,
Yeah.
Thanks, Councillor Oldacre. I'm sure you'll keep me on the straight and narrow for a while. Can I have a mover that those notifications?
So moved.
Thanks, Councillor Oldacre. The seconder, Councillor Flowers. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against, carried. Now, questions. There's some responses to some questions there from Trevor Spinks, Colin Murfitt, Alice Carson, and the responses there. There are nil public questions received in writing. Public questions without notice.
Yes, that paragraph.
The Council encourages community participation in its meetings through the opportunity for public questions and statements. People wishing to speak may ask up to 2 questions. If someone has more than 2 questions, we will accommodate them if there is time. Please come to the front or the lectern, state your name and ask any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've got 2 questions, one for Councillor Oldacre and one for Councillor Davner.
Can you come, yeah, James, just come through the chair though, please.
Sorry?
Just come through the chair, not direct to the councillors.
I can't hear.
Come through the chair, not direct to the councillors, please.
Okay. Before I start, I wish to congratulate all the new members of the council and all the returning ones, and I hope and pray that we will now be more open and more community centred, and everything will be more open and transparent. Now, this matter was brought to my attention by Mr. Ben Hunt. I appear here as the president of the Circular Head Labour Branch. Why Mr. Hunt referred this to me was because for 3 or more months now he has approached council, and council has given him virtually no assistance in his problem. Now, this is to do with land subsidence at his property. He lives on the Bass Highway near, what is it? Blackline Road. There's been a massive redevelopment of the highway, as you guys know. Since that development, his property has been flooding and subsiding. Now, Councillor Oldacre, I'm aware that you inspected this property some time ago during the governance of the
Through me, I'll go to councillor.
Okay, during the previous governance of this council. How long ago was that, Mr. Hunt?
It was a couple of months or so ago.
Month or more.
A few weeks before.
Okay. There was no assistance given to him at the time. Again, Councillor Dabner recently inspected the property as well. He has asked council to write to Tasrail and likewise to State Roads. We are still waiting. Now, behind this property, there is an old railway line which belongs to State Rail. There is a culvert or a drain running right alongside of the property. It is chock-a-block full of weed. There is no drainage.
Okay, so the question is?
The question is, when is anything going to be done about this property? By whom? Or do we have to raise this matter with the media?
So, General Manager.
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor. I have discussed this with officers, and imminently a letter will go to Tasrail and to State Roads to point out the state of those culverts and drains and ask for them to be cleared. And we will publicise the response when it comes back.
Okay. Now, for those councillors that are not familiar of what is going on, I have got some photographs which I would like to tender. This is the original correspondence received from Mr. Hunt. Where do I give this to?
If you give them here, we'll pass them around later on.
Okay. Okay. Yep, that's it.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
that's the original correspondence. That's the property as you see it there.
Right, okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, you said you had 2 questions?
That's it.
That's it?
Thank you.
Right, thanks, James. That'll be published when
And this is the original questions that I asked.
Thank you. Yep,
Thank you very much.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Any further questions? Public. Oh, thank you. Now,
You need to say that you're sitting as planning authority.
Now, we've got planning authority, section 6, so you have a planning authority. I will remind the council we're now sitting as a planning authority and must act accordingly. And I presume, Ashley, you're going to run with this. If I pass. Yep, thank you.
You may. Through you, we have an application before us for a side boundary fence. The fence does not comply with height standards for a standard fence, hence the need for a development application. It is a retrospective application in that the fence has already been constructed. Before us is the report recommended for approval. Essentially, it's a solid fence bottom half, and the top half does have some transparency through it. There is one representation raised against the proposal from the adjoining landowner to the north regarding matters summarised as potential to block visibility up the road, therefore exiting the property may cause a safety issue. That has been reviewed by our engineering department and determined not to be a safety issue. Concerns with regards to access to public land to the rear of the site, but there is no public access via the private property as it stands, so there is no obstruction of private land. And then the height of the fence may cause a safety issue due to the structure not being sound. As per any development application, we do add a standard note that a building surveyor should be contacted with regards to the development to ensure that it complies with all the requirements of the Building Act. So based on those responses to the issues raised, we support the recommendation for approval and put it before council.
Thank you. Any questions to Ashley in regard to the matter? If not, can someone move?
I rise, Mr Mayor, to move the recommendation with the conditions that are before us.
Thanks, Councillor Oldacre. A seconder?
Yes, Mr Mayor.
Thanks, Councillor Poposky. Anyone wish to speak for the motion or against the motion? No? I'll put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Now, yes, thanks, Ash. Now, matters raised by councillors. There's one response to the question from Councillor Woodward. There's no questions received in writing. Councillors' questions without notice. No? Yep. Yep.
I met with Mark Cotter today, and he's concerned in the delay with his subdivision. I'm just wondering when we're going to deal with that.
Yep.
Through you, Mr Mayor, a response has been sent tonight to Mr Cotter to explain the options before him. And I'm not sure whether it's appropriate to go into detail in that in open session, but he has got a response tonight which sets out 3 options for moving forward. I'll go into more detail outside.
Any further questions?
The Helly College.
No, do that one close.
Right.
Yep. Actually working overtime there. No further questions? Thank you. Notices of motions nil. Reports of officers and committees. So we'll start obviously with our General Manager's report.
Yes, thank you, Mr Mayor. For new councillors, this is a wrap-up of things that may be of interest to council and the community. I have it's a short one this month, so there's no real issues that I would like to draw to your attention. Tracy, was there anything you wanted to
Not really.
No.
No.
It's okay. So quite a straightforward one. If there are any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Are there any questions on the General Manager's report? If not, can I have a mover, please? Someone prepared?
So
Councillor
moved.
Oldacre,
Yes.
Councillor Hine. Thank you. I presume no one wishes to speak to. I'll put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. The next is the declaration of officers, and that will be our General Manager as well.
Councillors, this is for you to formally acknowledge the declarations of office you made, so that that is all on the record. It's just a matter of proper governance having that on the record. Thank you.
I don't presume there's any questions on that. If I could have a mover, please.
So moved.
Thanks, Councillor Poposky. A seconder, Councillor Flowers. I'll put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. 9.3, again the General Manager.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We need to set a schedule for 2023. We are proposing to stick with the monthly Thursday date for council meetings, as has been the practice up to now. I would highlight to you simply the table on page 73 of the agenda. You'll see that a couple of items are highlighted in yellow. That is to advise that the way the calendar works in 2023, the first workshop for December 2023 will actually be on the 30th of November. And the second highlight is that we don't yet know when the King's birthday holiday will be.
Any questions? Not again. If I could have a mover, please.
So move.
Thanks, Councillor Hine. A seconder, Councillor Collins. Thank you. I don't believe there needs to be any discussion. If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried.
Mr Mayor, will they be loaded in our calendar for the year
They
as
will.
the workshops? Beautiful. Keep me on my toes.
Thank you. 9.4, our council representatives, which we've had a bit of discussion on the committees. Again, we've got the General Manager.
Yes, there's not really anything to say, Mr Mayor, except I believe you still need a representative on the rural health.
We do. But that was a late one coming in
It was.
after the last workshop, when we sent the question out whether they wanted someone. Both parties responded positively. Sally's taken the standing one, or Councillor Collins has taken the standing one, and we need one for the Rural Health Board. So
I'm probably happy to do that one because I'm doing the circulator health and
Great.
good. So, sorry,
I'm on the Heritage Committee and the West End Committee, and they seem to meet on the same day.
Ah, right.
So whether we can change the day or...
Probably easier to, yeah, I don't know, those are the
Right.
Yep. Western Area Management Committee. So both of those,
Second Monday in the month.
yeah.
Every second month.
Yeah.
Is that when the Heritage Centre meets?
Every month, yeah.
Theirs is every month.
It's probably easier to change the councillor than the meetings, to be honest.
Yeah, okay. I'd be quite interested in the Heritage one, but I probably should be on the West End one, so... I'm easy.
So we've got Mark for rural health. Do we?
Well, Mr Mayor,
Councillor
if I might be just a bit seeing he's the eldest, I think he might have given the Heritage.
Steve's quite happy to be on the Heritage, so...
Yeah, but if the
But
meeting
they
clashes,
clash.
that's what the issue is.
Yeah, I understand that. I'd like to see him stop on the Heritage. But it's whether we get someone for the Western area.
it's a travelling part there, I would imagine.
Well, we used to travel before plenty of times.
Where do they meet?
If it means, if Steve wants to do that, sorry, Mr, if Councillor Pillington wants to remain on the area, then I'm quite happy to go to the Western Area Manager, because it's not that far through there.
Okay. You good with that?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So we'll change. So,
Western area.
yep. So when the motion is moved and Matthew's got those adjustments in that, so we'll take into account.
Online a bit.
Right. So
So we'll add, if through you, Mr Mayor, if I may, we'll add an item 3, Matthew, to the recommendation that Councillor Dabner be appointed to the Rural Health Board, and that Councillor Oldacre be appointed to the Western Area Management Committee. Sorry, it's Rural Health Board.
The second councillor again, sorry.
Councillor Oldacre be appointed to the Western Area Management Committee.
Thank you, councillor. So everyone's happy with what we've got now? If so, can I have a mover for that?
So moved.
Thanks, councillor Oldacre. Seconder?
Yeah.
Deputy Mayor? No further conversation? I'll put the motion. Those
Just a second,
just
before
a
you
sec.
put the motion.
Okay, so there it is. So, everyone's comfortable with that?
Yep.
I'll put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you. Financial report.
Me.
You, yep.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Through Mr Mayor and councillors, before you we have the financial report for the period ended 31st of October 2022. And on the first page there we have the closing funds for the special committees. Next page we have there was, I've blacked out a bit here, there was none for the month for first home owners grants and three in total for the year, the fourth month. In terms of the comprehensive income statement, currently sitting at a net result of 5.9 million compared to a budget of 1.9, with the bulk of our rates raised on the 1st of July. It's generally a lot of expenditure and then financial assistance grants plus things like your user charges for Port Ladder and a like coming in through the year. In terms of the statement of financial position, we've got total community equity of a bit over 253 million. We've got investments, which are just at call at the moment, of 9.1 million, and we are starting to get some different rates coming through from different banks on those as well. So we'll start putting those in, hopefully getting a little bit better return. In terms of the receivables, which is on page 83, we have the current proportion uncollected at 19.81% compared to 20.37%. So thought this year it may have been a bit different in terms of the collection of those rates after sort of COVID times, and subsidies for those times have sort of been removed. But it's still, the collection rates are actually better than what they have been in the last couple of years, which is interesting, which is good and pleasing. So we still do offer repayment arrangements as well, which we've got a lot of people on. Just those fortnightly repayments via direct debit really help out people. And in terms of sundry debtors, we've got a current balance of 354,000 compared to 696 last year. That's about it, Mr Mayor, and I'll present the report for Council's consideration.
Thanks, Rachel. Any questions?
Through you, Mr Chair, Mayor. What is the interest rate we're getting on our investments?
Through you, Mr Mayor, it's only in the one, I can't tell you the exact amount, but it's only in the ones at the moment, but it was up in the, I think it was in the late twos, the offer that come through the other day, so it's actually gradually starting to be on the move.
Yep.
So
there is a bit of Rachel's doing a bit of a review.
So historically it's 1%, but it's improving with...
Yep, definitely. And the on-call, through you, Mr Mayor, the on-call account that we've just got the money in hasn't been any better than, the term deposits haven't been any better than the on-call, so we've just left it there with access to it. So now it's just starting to move. Yeah.
Any more questions? Not, thank you. Someone move the financial report be received?
So moved.
Councillor Oldacre, seconded Councillor Pilkington. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Look at general meeting motions. General Manager.
Yes, we have 3 councillors who've put up motions to go to Legat conference for voting, and the reason for bringing this item to council is primarily so that the mayor can understand if he should vote for or against at the conference. The motions are included for councillors to read. Thank you.
Any questions on those?
Have to go individually, just look at it, talk to it?
Yep, we can do. First one was timing of, where is it?
Council meetings.
Council meetings.
It's on page 89.
Yep, on page 89, which was adopt a policy position that encourages that council meeting and workshop times occur at times that are conductive and to and facilitate increased participation across a broader cross-section of the community. Yes, Mr. Driver?
Sorry.
You're right, Councillor Taylor?
With a motion like that, that's very subjective. It does really depend on the council and who gets elected round the plate. To see that as a motion at a conference, I don't think there's any necessity to it. Surely the councils of the day, regardless of whether they're in the city or in the island, they should be able to work out themselves without having to do it. As long as they're holding that meeting, there shouldn't be any need for that motion.
No, right. I agree, John. I reckon we vote against that.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further thoughts around that one, around the table? The next one was from West Tamar. What's that one?
Review.
Seek revisions of the Property Agents and Land Transaction Act to consider requiring a 337 certificate prior to listing a property, making available as part of the sale process, requiring full disclosure for properties as part of the listing process. Actually, was it? What's the 337 certificates?
Three, Mr Mayor, I can probably answer that.
Thank you.
So a 337 certificate is actually section 337 of the Local Government Act, and it's actually a document that's anything property related. So it's whether you've got a stormwater connection, what development applications have been on the property, and it's stormwater,
Easements and cables.
yeah, all that type of stuff. So actually with that one, I think that one actually probably would be a good idea. So, you know, first homeowners and things like that, they'd have that information available before the property's actually listed to see what's actually, there might be illegal works on there or anything like that. So I think that one's actually quite good.
Councillor Oldacre and then Councillor Flowers.
I was just going to add to that, what that technique will do is if somebody advertises the place and if there's an illegal building, it actually shows up before before it gets too far down the track, and then everybody's going crook about council. The reality is those things happen, and there's been a number, and people's got they're going to sell the place, then they've got to go through the process of fixing it, instead of blaming real estate agents or council or everybody else, when in actual fact it's their fault.
Yep. Councillor Flowers?
Dealings I've had on the mainland, I think mainland Australia's, Queensland, I'm pretty sure, has already got something similar to this, which I think is a good idea.
Yep.
I support the recommendation because I've had recent experience with covenants being put on properties and people have bought them and then start to not understand. So I think it's a good motion to safeguard the buyer, purchaser.
Yep.
Councillor Pilgrim and then Councillor.
I'm concerned, does it cover rural properties? And one of the things that's happening with rural properties is people aren't aware of the land clearing laws, and I think it should be made clear what they are, because there's a lot of people that are buying rural properties, doing illegal clearing, which they don't really know is illegal clearing, and getting into trouble. So I'm not sure whether this covers rural properties too, but it would be worth considering.
It doesn't specify, so I would
But I
presume...
don't, sorry, Mr Mayor, but I'm not sure in terms of clearing part of it. It's only to do with council services that the council that do. So, yeah, I wouldn't have thought so.
No, I've had one so.
Yep.
Yeah, I rise to support it. I think it's a practical, common sense approach, and it's something that saves problems later on down the track.
Thank you. And then Councillor Pilkington's point, we can probably look at down the track a little bit.
I could answer that, but it's not part of this motion.
Yep, okay. So I take it from around the table that everyone's pretty happy with that one. Kingborough has got an affordable housing one.
Is there any summary of that, please?
That's 93, page 93 is encourage the development of affordable housing as a lobby the state government, sorry, to encourage the development of affordable housing as a matter of urgency through measures that promote efficient supply of well-located, diverse housing, promote the development of affordable housing with specific incentives for affordable housing enabled through planning schemes, policies, and require the development of affordable housing with the use of mandatory provisions in separate locations. That is a threshold that would require certain size developments to provide a minimum percentage of affordable housing. Pardon me. Thoughts? Councillor Oldacre?
Hey, thank you, Mr Mayor. I think this one is fraught with some danger. If you're going to ask developers to have so much ground, and that's what I took at that last statement, with so much for affordable housing, is you're going to stifle the developers from starting. Because anybody that goes to develop a block, they want maximum return out of it. And I don't care who you are, everybody wants maximum return. If you're going to put some restrictions on that, then you're not going to get the development that Kingborough think that they will get.
This would be on the back of the rush down in Kingborough at the moment.
Yeah, right? So it's not going to happen because developers will just walk away. That's my thoughts.
Yep. Any other thoughts?
Mr Mayor, I concur with Councillor Oldacre. I'm in favour of affordable housing, but it should be a free market out there and agreements between the developer and so on. I wouldn't support this motion.
Okay, any other thoughts, any other comments? So I'm taking it from that now, please correct me before I ask the motion on this, is we're voting for 2?
No, you were against Bernie.
Against, number 2, sorry. We're against Bernie and Kingborough?
Yeah, and supporting.
And supporting
Yeah.
the second one,
Yeah.
whichever.
West, yeah.
West Hamon.
Yeah, yeah.
So could I have a mover along those lines, please?
So moved.
Councillor Oldacre, seconded by Councillor Hine. I think we've had...
Before I process this, sorry, Mr Mayor, would you like that as a second point in the recommendation that we vote against 1 and 3 and 4, number 2?
It's probably a good idea. Yeah.
It's there and it's clear then.
Yeah.
Yep.
So recommendation 2. Sorry, you don't need that there, Matthew. So just 2.
Yep.
That the mayor at the conference supports the West Tamar motion and votes against the Bernie and Kingborough council motions.
Happy with that, Councillor Oldacre?
Yeah.
Councillor Hine, you good with that? Okay, we've had a fair chat, so I'll put the motion. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against, carried. Thank you, people. Delegation to the General Manager. The General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
She wants it all.
This is a piece of governance. I have the delegations, but they were signed off by the previous mayor, and I think it would be good practice to have them signed off by the new mayor. So that is the request through you, Mr Mayor.
Any comments?
So moved.
So moved by Councillor Oldacre. Can I have a seconder?
Yes.
Councillor Hine. Any further comment? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against, carried. Corporate strategic plan.
Can you just give us the page?
Yeah, mate, sorry.
105.
Yep, 105. And we'll wait for Councillor Pavoski to find that.
I'll get me $20 glasses out, just 1 minute.
We good?
Yep.
Yep. General Manager.
Through you, Mr Mayor. We have discussed this at our workshop, and the recommendation is that Council adopts the revised corporate strategic plan as discussed at the workshop. We expect that we will bring this back to you depending on the outcome of the Future of Local Government review for a more in-depth review if required, and given the intention to workshop with you a 4-year delivery plan in January. So, through you, Mr Mayor, the request is to adopt the revised plan.
We've, like the gentleman just said, we had a fair go at this at workshop, so any questions though? Can I have a mover for the motion, please?
So moved.
Councillor Poposky, seconded Deputy Mayor. Anyone wish to speak for or against? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Councillor Code of Conduct. General Manager. Very good boy, too.
Yes, councillors, it's a requirement after an election for the new council to adopt the Code of Conduct. So it is another piece of governance for the start of the term.
Any questions? If not, I'll move by Councillor Oldacre.
Thank you.
Seconder, Councillor Collins. Any comment or any? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Quarterly financial report, I presume.
Yes, that will be me again, Mr Mayor.
We'll
Thank
give her a
you.
spell.
Through you, councillors, we have the quarterly financial report for the period ended 30th of September. So this is just a sort of more detailed report compared to the monthly financials, which is just the macro level. The details are split into our service areas, so transport or road infrastructure, solid waste, stormwater, etc. The reports are done in a number of years as well, so you can look at the comparisons and the percent spent and the dollar variances are in there as well. So I think because the reports have a lot of details in them, I'll just probably take any questions, if that's okay, Mr Mayor.
Certainly is. Any questions to Rachel on that? Take it from that, you're doing a good job.
Look, through you, Mr Mayor, too, we're looking at doing, you've got this high-level set of financial statements, which is your profit and loss and the balance sheet, and then we've got this really detailed set as well. So we're trying to do a set in the middle, which is sort of a summary of all those areas, but it's just getting time and resources to be able to do that. So we are working on it, though.
All right, if there's no questions, could I have a mover for the quarterly financial report to be accepted, please?
So moved.
So moved, Mr Oldacre. Councillor Oldacre, sorry. Seconded, Councillor Flowers. Sorry, you help me, Mark. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Councillor Allowance and Expense Policy. General Manager.
Yes, through you, Mr Mayor. Another piece of governance. At the beginning of a term, council is required to adopt its allowances and expenses policy for councillors. We haven't made any changes, so commend it to council for adoption.
Any questions? Do I have a mover then?
This is a good one to move, shall we? So move, Mr.
Thank you, Councillor Poposky. Seconded, Deputy Mayor. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Now, minutes of the bodies and committees. We take questions on these on the way through them and then move them all in one. Did that work?
Yes, it's laid out slightly differently, but you can do that because they're all under 9.12.
Yep. Okay, so the first one is, bless you. I'm taking that as a yes vote. The first one is the, what have we got? JEDIC. Is there any questions or comments on those? There's a progress report from Cheddick as well. And the regional learning pathways would have come via there as well, I would have thought.
Yep.
Industry tours feedback probably via there as well. Minutes. Stanley Town Hall Special Committee.
It's actually going quite well.
That's good. Circulated Health and Wellbeing Collective. That one's got potential to do a lot of good for us
Yes.
going forward. So it's in very much in the infant stages, but for community-wise, it's got the potential to pull a lot of bodies together going forward. So.
Just on that standing-
Sorry, Councillor Bosky. Yeah.
Just on that, I did ask the question whether the President reports and Treasurer's reports were coming from these council committees. Did we get any movement on that? I think Stanley Town Hall was one of them.
Well, they do appear sometimes through...
The annual meeting ones, I meant.
But sometimes the annual meetings are held and sometimes the information hasn't come by the council to them. Depends on the dates of their meetings as to whether they're through. This one is the second Tuesday, Stanley one is the second Tuesday in a month, so...
Be a month delay.
And I appreciate your comments, Councillor Poposky, but that's not the only one. Like, there's a number of others. Yep. If they fall really early in the month, right, then they're sort of a month behind coming. Right?
Yep. And through you, Mr Mayor, we have sent out a reminder that we do need those.
Yep. It keeps councillors better informed.
Yes,
Yep.
yeah, no, so it should be coming through, so yeah. Thanks.
And they have plenty of money in the Stanley Town Hall.
Put Sally on these, I'll spend it.
Circular Head, that's a collective again, sorry, went backwards. Circular Head, there's two or three there from Circular Head Wellbeing Collective. That was part of catch-up in those as well. If there's no questions or further comments on those, can we have a motion that they're all accepted, please?
I move.
Thanks, Councillor Oldacre. Seconded, Deputy Mayor. All those in favour?
Aye.
Carried.
Got two resolutions to do.
Yep, now that's it. Now can I have a resolution and vote by absolute majority that we move into...
That the
matters
listed.
The matters listed are considered enclosed.
So
Please.
moved.
Thanks, Councillor Oldacre. Seconded, Councillor Hine. All those in favour?
Aye.
And I now have a motion that we close the open meeting and move into closed session.
So moved.
Thanks, Councillor Oldacre, and seconded, Councillor Hine. All those in favour?
Aye.
Thank you.